Hello and welcome to another episode in Word According to ORP's Challenging Ideas series. Before we get started, I'd like to ask if you would be so kind as to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. It means a lot to me and the success of this channel. Thank you. Now let's get right into it. Challenging idea number 3. Life is a state of mind. If you're an American listening to this, when I say state, I'm not talking about where you live. I'm talking about your state of being, which is to say, your current overall condition with respect to your body and mind. For example, it could be used this way. Bob found himself in a positive state after hearing the good news. Here's the good news. If you are currently living in a state that you do not like, you can move. Perhaps you remember that old Sprite ad that claimed, "Image is nothing, thirst is everything." Well, as I began thinking about this, it came to mind and I realized that the same thing could be said about state. Image is nothing, state is everything. A number of years ago, I had the pleasure and unique opportunity to spend a number of days with John Grinder, one of the co-creators of neuro-linguistic programming, the art and science of human communication and behavior. All this time later, the first thing I remember when I think back on it is something he repeated daily. It went like this. Your success is determined by your ability to achieve outcomes. Your ability to achieve outcomes is dependent upon your behavior. And your behavior is determined by your state. Since your success is ultimately determined by your state, it's safe to say, at least in regard to success, that state is everything. Take a moment to think of something you do well. Driving, public speaking, typing, cooking, singing, playing golf, making love, lying. Now, with one in mind, ask yourself, is it true? Does my state determine my behavior? Or if you prefer, we could also use the word performance. I picked typing, as I do a lot of it. Does my state affect my typing performance? Absolutely. I've noticed that when I am in any what would be commonly called negative states, stress, panic, anxiety, worry, fear, nervousness, my performance is powerfully affected, and not for the better. Speed and accuracy spiraled down. Watching me, you'd think I was only pretending to type. Conversely, when I am in any what would be commonly called positive states, relaxation, calm, focus, confident, happy, my performance is also powerfully affected, for the better. My speed and accuracy rate are high as words come effortlessly. Watching me, you'd think typing came naturally. It didn't. I had to put in the time and practice to learn it, just like anyone else who can type well. That time and effort has paid off handsomely. The best performers share this secret. When you think about some of today's best performers, be they singers, actors, golfers, tennis players, chess masters, comedians, musicians, have you ever wondered why they are the stars of their chosen field? Have you ever asked yourself, what do they have in common? You might come up with answers including hard work, dedication, skill, natural talent, practice, confidence, and so on. But not all of them would share all of those characteristics. And bear in mind, many of those who have not become stars do share them. So it can't be those. Here's a little story about one of the fans of one of who some argue to be the world's greatest golf player. The fan is watching a live golf tournament with his 5-year-old son who, like his dad, is a huge Tiger Woods fan. The dad is not only an avid golf player, but also an instructor and coach. Both of them are riveted to the 46-inch flat screen in their living room as they watch their hero perform one small miracle after another every time it's his turn to play. But soon, They are both plunged into deep disappointment as they witness Tiger, for no apparent reason, after a so far flawless game, completely mess up, sinking his ball into the hole on the 9th green from less than 3 feet away. The boy and his dad simultaneously shout, "No!" at the screen, unable to believe their eyes. The ball comes to a stop 2 feet away, and Tiger, who could at any other time put it in the cup with his eyes closed and one arm tied behind his back, somehow manages to miss again. Shaking his head in confusion, the boy asks his dad, "What happened to the Tiger? Did he just suddenly lose all his talent? How could he forget everything he knows?" The boy's father thought about these questions for a few moments before answering. He explained to his son that, although it did appear that way, the Tiger did not lose his talent, and that he did not forget everything he knows. The confusion reddening the boy's face only intensified. "It's like this, son. When the Tiger started playing the game, he was in a certain state that allowed him to play at his very best. Some people call it being in the zone. This state, made up by the way one is feeling and thinking, allows those who are in it to perform effortlessly, with just the right amount of skill, energy, and focus. When the Tiger suddenly started screwing up his shots, it was because, for some reason we don't know, he came out of the zone. Some people call this choking. His knowledge and skills are still inside of him. It's just that when he is no longer in the zone, or when he's choking, he has restricted access to them. At this point, his only hope is to get out of the choking state and back into being in the zone state. How does he do that? Good question. There are some really cool lessons and techniques anyone can learn that will quickly and easily put them back in the zone, the most useful state for the task at hand, so they can deliver an excellent performance anytime. Okay? The Tiger is back. What a fantastic tee-off. Did you see that, son? He's back in the zone, the boy shouts excitedly. He certainly is, son. Can you teach me how to do that, Dad? Of course, but after the game, okay? You don't have to live in a state that is not useful. Since state is so important to your overall success in life, or any specific endeavor, wouldn't it be cool if you could, with a little investment of time and practice, learn to master it the way one masters typing or driving or whatever you like? Of course it would be, but is it really possible? I mean, come on. Aren't we all just a bunch of knee-jerk reactions, victims, or happy recipients of our states? Are we not simply at the mercy of our moods and emotions? Isn't it true that, for example, fear is out there, hovering like an invisible cloud, and chooses, seemingly at random, to jump on us and have its way until it decides to leave us alone? I doubt you believe that to be true. On the other hand, I bet there's someone out there who has said something like, "Traffic stresses me out. She makes me happy. They really piss me off. You make me feel, insert any emotional state here," and so on. I know I have. You can't really be blamed for this, as you are surrounded with this kind of sentiment all day, every day, on TV, out of the mouths of those around you, in pop songs on the radio. You make me feel like a natural woman. You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. You made me forget myself. I thought I was someone else, someone good. Our litigious culture strengthens the notion that you are responsible for other people's emotions. They say it is good manners in some parts of Italy to belch after a meal, as this is taken as a compliment to the chef. Imagine an Italian brought up with this belief, visiting friends in a different country. After dining in their home for the first time, he lets out a mighty belch. It's easy to picture his host taking offense at this exclamation. They would more than likely say his belch had offended them, even though it would be more accurate to say, "I chose to be offended by the man's belching." Should the Italian man be held responsible for his host's state post-belch? The truth is this: traffic doesn't stress people. She doesn't make you angry. He doesn't make you feel like a woman. Nobody pisses you off. A belch doesn't offend you, and on and on. Now, some people may not like to hear that because they want to believe those things to be true. As long as those things are true, they can pretend that their state is not within their own control and that other people are to blame or be credited for it. In other words, they do not have to take responsibility for their states. If that describes you, I wonder, how's that going for you? Is it getting you what you want in your life? Is it supporting you? Helping make you happy? If so, that's great. Stick with it. If not, you might want to keep listening. The good news. Each and every one of us is the creator, the cause of his or her own states. In a nutshell, it goes like this. Your state, from moment to moment, is arrived at by the combination of your internal representations, the mental movie, as it were. The pictures you run mixed with what you're telling yourself, sounds and voices, and your physiology, which has everything to do with your body, what's in it, its posture, its overall health, how you are moving your eyes, etc. To stop being at the mercy of one's states and begin to master them, you must either learn how to change the way you represent the outside world or situation to yourself, or change your physiology. It is best to learn how to do both. In my estimation, it's about as easy or difficult, depending on your point of view, as learning to type or ride a bike. And once you do learn, you never forget. Why would anyone want to be more in control of their mental and emotional state of being? A good answer comes by way of the case of a young woman who came to see me in a last-ditch attempt to find relief from the urge to commit suicide. She had been looking for more than 4 years and had spent considerable amounts of cash along the way, unfortunately without achieving her outcome. We had a conversation, mostly me asking questions and her answering, and soon came to understand that her urge to commit suicide was not the actual problem, but, as those in the mental health industry like to call, the presenting problem. The actual problem, the one causing the presenting problem, turned out to be an overwhelmingly negative state: guilt. The first step to realizing the relief she wanted came with a powerful intervention called memory resolution technique, and it worked wonders. Afterwards, the young woman was laughing, feeling joy for the first time in years, and unable to get back the feeling of guilt. The next few sessions were devoted to teaching her how to take control of her own states. Now, instead of being at their mercy, this woman has learned the skills to be able to go into any state at any time she wants. It's worth mentioning that the last time we spoke, she was happily engaged to be married and about to start a new life in another part of the world. Learning how to master her state may have saved her life. If you are suffering with overwhelmingly negative states, guilt, fear, anger, sadness, panic, anxiety, worry, negativity, nervousness, lack of focus, you no longer have to. There are ways in which you can learn to overcome and begin to experience more useful states such as happiness, joy, ecstasy, optimism, concentration, openness, understanding, love, confidence, and many more. Now that you understand that no person or thing is the cause of your state, you might see that it is unfair and no longer useful or right to claim that they are. Only when you take responsibility will you have the power to make the changes you desire. Since all of us create our own states of being, The question you might want to ask yourself is, will I choose them unconsciously and as a result be at their mercy? Or will I choose them consciously and begin to master my states? Whichever one you pick, isn't it good to know that you have a choice? Life is a state of mind. What's the state of yours? If you or someone you care about is experiencing unwanted, unuseful states, or if you'd like more information on how you can add a few new tools to your toolbox, when now would be a good time to, get in touch. My contact details are in the description below. More and more these days, people are suffering needlessly, so I would be grateful if you could share this podcast to help get the good news out there. Once you learn to master your states, you'll no longer be at their mercy. When you can choose to get into the most useful state for the task at hand, it will have a huge impact upon your behavior, leading to enjoyably achieving your outcomes more often, meaning more satisfying success and improved health. That's a message worth sharing, isn't it? Thanks for your time and attention, and until next time, capitalize on opportunity, add new tools to your toolbox, and become a master of your states.